Hello. When the communists were at power, it was a shame to not go to the army. And when they fell, and probably during their last years, it was more like shame to not manage to evade the army. And during the communists, the army lasted for 2 years. When their country collapsed, on different of its debris, the situation was different, but where am I? It was 2 years at first, and later it got 1 year. I was in the army 25 years ago, when the communists already fell, but when the army still lasted for 2 years, and I'm going to discuss the army in this video. You will know my experience from the army, you will know the arguments of those who don't want to go there, and you will know my answers to them. First of all, those who evade the army, you're schmucks. Do you know what the army is? The army is a place where you have right to wear the clothes they will allow you to wear, to eat only food they will allow you to eat, to wear the haircut they will allow you to wear, where you obligated to obey to your commanders, and you have right to do only what they will allow you to do, and you have no right to forsake the territory, and that turns you to a real man. Once the commander was talking to our file, and he came to some dude and began to talk to him. He didn't like the answer he got and spit at his face. And he was walking along us, and every time he was passing by the dude, he was spitting the face. Once the dude asked, "What do you think you're doing?" and catch your spit. Must be silent when the commander spits at your face. He makes a man of you. Be submissive to him. You know what they say? If you got to the troops, be proud. Now let us discuss the arguments of those who don't want to go to the army. They say the food is terrible there, the people are disgusting there, that they say that they hate the government and don't owe them anything. So you don't like the food? Think of our forefathers who was starving for millenniums. They had lack of harvest and had nowhere else to get their food. You don't like the people and the government. Think of our forefathers. You think they did like each other, they did like the government. They were hating, but they were fighting still. Think of 1914 at least. For those who forgot, there was such a thing as Dedovshchina, such a hierarchy. When you was just getting to the army, you was a spirit. 6 months later, you was an elephant. 12 months later, you was a scoop. 18 months later, you was a grandpa. 24 months later, you was forsaking the army. So when I just got to the army, there were 3 scoops. One had sex with the woman of the main man of the institute, so he got kicked out. The other wasted money of mafia in casino, so he escaped. He was owing them. The third one accidentally torched his plant, so he came to the army. However, the one who had sex had glasses, he was blind. The one who wasted the money was puking all the time, which was indicating to the obvious problems with the stomach. And the third one was a fat man. But they came to the army, even though they were sick. And what do we have now? People pretend to be sick, pay bribes, or just hide until the age of 31. You needed to hide until the age of 28 before. Now you need to hide until the age of 31. Actually, don't dare to hide, go to the army. But still, people say that in the army people are disgusting. And there's no Dedovshchina, but people are disgusting. People were going to the army when there was Dedovshchina. The three scoops got beaten by the grandpas and came to the hospital when they just got to the army. My mate is as old as me. In 1999, we both were 16. I was a simple 16 years old guy and he got imprisoned for the first time. In the year 2000, the military office got information about me and he was imprisoned. In the year 2001, I came to the army and he was imprisoned. He was imprisoned probably during a third of his life. And he wasn't in the army. And that's right. Imprisonment is the only valid reason to not go to the army. You know, getting imprisoned at the age of 14 and coming out at the age of 31 as a man, and maybe even as an authority. 1 year before the age of 18, I had a dream. Some men were taking me to the army. I was like, leave me, I have plans for next year. And they were like, come on, go to the army before the spring draft didn't end. What if I wouldn't go to the army 25 years ago? What would I do? Maybe I'd watched movies. What movies? What movies existed back then? Wasabi, Lord of Rings, Harry Potter, 5 bottles of vodka. Or maybe I'd play games. What games? GTA 3, Shenmue 2, Metal Gear Solid 2, Harry Potter again. Maybe I'd visit some events. But what events? Funeral of Dreamcast or appearance of the new Xbox. That's ridiculous. And I've been sent to the army. Yeah, they weren't letting me to sleep for 3 days. They were forcing me to work, no matter how ill was I. They were breaking my limbs. They knocked out 4 of my teeth. But I spent 2 years in the army not in vain. And it's your duty to go there. Some people say they didn't borrow anything from the government. Even if you didn't learn anything, you still owe them. And at the very end, to those who are in the army, to those who were in the army, to those who cannot be in the army, and even to all schmucks who hide, I'm congratulating you to the first day of the spring draft.